We want to introduce you to Daniela Deuel. Do I pronounce you right?
It's Deuel.
Deuel, I'm sorry.
That's
Daniela
all right.
Deuel, chairman of the Encore Theater, and Cristina Deuel, lead actor in Anne Frank, Diary of Anne Frank. Welcome to both of you. Thanks for getting up and coming down here today.
Of course. Thank you for having us.
So tell us a little bit about the theater.
Okay, well, Encore Theater is a student-run, student-acted community group here in Albuquerque. Our mission is to raise up the next generation of student actors and leaders in our community by providing them a safe and nurturing environment to grow their gifts as an actor and artists.
We have some talented young people around here.
We do. We have many, many, many talented people.
We've got a photo of, looks like this is the acting company that works at the Encore Theater. Let's have a look at that as we discuss. Here they are. Look at that. Hey, I see you there, Cristina.
Yeah.
So this is the cast of the Diary of Anne Frank.
Fantastic. And what's the age range here?
In this group, the eldest, I believe, is 19, and then the youngest is Cristina, and she's 13. But for the entire group, we basically take all actors 0 to age 25.
Wow.
Still, that's remarkable.
And Cristina, what's it like playing Anne Frank?
It's hard to explain because I had no role like Anne Frank. Anne Frank is such a special character.
Yeah.
Because I've played Lucy and many other side roles. But Anne Frank is definitely my hardest challenge because her life is so different from ours, and it's hard to play a life like that. So it's very...
Especially it's a real person. And do you ever sit and imagine what she was really like as a person? We have her writings, but you wonder what she went through as she's writing this. What is she thinking? And the stress and the anxiety that she went through for her family. It's something to really get your brain around, isn't it?
Yeah.
So how long have you been in theater?
I have been doing theater ever since I was 8 years old, so about 5 years. I have been involved with Encore Theater, New Mexico Young Actors, and the Growing Stage.
Wow.
And your ambition is to do this professionally eventually.
Yes, one day maybe.
I think you're on your way. That's great. And this experience, Daniela, it brings out, you see these young people just come out of their shell and blossom on stage. And I'm sure you see it every week when you work with them.
Yeah, definitely. And that is such a special thing to me, and I think that's why I keep doing this. You know, it's still hard, and at the end of the day, you're tired after rehearsals, but it is such a neat thing to see these actors take a role and they just create an art, something so beautiful individually, and then when you have 10 of them in a cast, you have 10 unique pieces of art that together creates this beautiful, beautiful production. And that's specifically what we've done with the Diary of Anne Frank.
And in addition to being the president at Encore, you're also a student at UNM.
Yes,
so
I am.
You have a busy life.
Yes, very, very much so.
So what was like the, I guess, inspiration or motivation to get into theater or to run this program?
Well, I've always been passionate about the fine arts. That's always been something that I've loved ever since I was a kid. You know, I did ballet and voice lessons and choir. But I think when I was in college is when I started Encore Theater, and I really saw that there was a need to create more student leaders in our community. And I think a lot of students, and I know I was at a time one of them, I only thought I could lead our community if I was involved in politics. But I think you have to realize politics is only one aspect of our community. There's the medicine world and business, and fine arts is one of those. So that was one of my goals in starting Encore, is to create that environment for all students to come along and find their place within our world.
This question is for both of you, but I want Cristina to answer it first. You remember the first theater production that you saw that really moved you, inspired you to?
The first production I saw?
Yeah. That you went, I want to do that. Or was it all of them?
Well, I don't really remember my first production. What was the first production I saw?
I don't know.
I don't really know. Probably for my field trips for my school, we would go to Popejoy.
Yeah.
and I would see productions there, and that always inspired me. I want to do that too.
Yeah,
be on stage with all the people.
Yeah, you saw them and said, I could do this, huh?
Yeah.
I can see it in your eyes.
Yeah.
How about you, Daniela? What did you see that inspired you in theater?
Well, and it wasn't necessarily a theatrical production. It was actually Swan Lake, the ballet, and I was 4 years old, and I remember watching it and being so intrigued with what was presented and just thinking it's a totally different world, and I want to be a part of that. So that ballet experience is kind of what guided me into this theatrical musical journey that I am now on.
So what's your favorite part of doing Anne Frank?
Probably acting with other people.
Yeah.
Because it's not, of course, it's not like real life, but you actually have to show emotion with everything you do. Mm-hmm. So you have to kind of pull it together to make one thing. So you have to really know the cast, or else it won't really go well if you try to do that.
When you're on stage performing this, how do you feel? Do you feel like you've become Anne Frank? Are you blocking out everything else? Are you really possessed and inspired by the role and what you're saying?
Yeah, well, definitely before the show, I have to get in character. I try to block out everything, but sometimes it comes in. But mostly I try to fulfill her role because she was such an important character in the Holocaust. Mm-hmm. And it's such an honor to play her, especially as a young girl who's 13, as Anne Frank was 13.
Right.
How was this show cast, Daniela?
Well, we have a casting panel, and we had 6 people sitting on it, including myself. So we invite community mentors that we have and also other community adult actors. And they came alongside, and we have many students audition. And it was very, very hard to make these decisions because I think we had about 35, 40 kids audition, but then we can only take 10.
Right.
So it was difficult, but...
What are some challenges you face as far as like the directing? And I mean, she seems like a great young lady to work with.
Yes.
Do you have ever have issues like with working with younger kids, or?
I think it's not so much an age thing, but you as the director, you have to trust your cast enough to give them artistic freedom.
Right.
Because it's easy to say, you move here and put your arm like this. However, if that's not natural to them, it won't look right no matter what you tell them. So you have to get to the point where you communicate your vision effectively, they take that and they turn it into their own thing. And I think that's probably one of the challenges that you really have to learn, not to micromanage, I suppose.
Yeah.
There are 2 remaining performances.
Yes.
Diary of Anne Frank, and they're both this weekend, Friday and Saturday. Let's talk about specifics there. You're going to be at the Calvary Chapel Rio Rancho Friday evening at 7 p.m. Mm-hmm. And then Saturday at Family Church at 7 p.m., June 8th. And tickets... Well, I have it right here. I might as well go to it. It's up on screen. Tickets are $5. Students are $3. You've made it very accessible. And children 10 and under are free. And they're available at the door. Mm-hmm. Fantastic.
It sounds like a great production for all the family.
It definitely is. We think so.
Even if people don't know the story of Anne Frank,
right.
I'm sure
definitely a good place to come and learn about it.
So, Cristina, after you've done the play at the end, how do you feel?
I feel like I conquered the play.
Yeah.
I feel like, because at first it's really like, oh, I have to do my very best for this audience. So at the very end, you can take a deep breath and you know it's done. And you feel good about your performance or how you did. And I always like that feeling. We're like, I'm done, I did it, and I did it well.
Right.
Amazing. Well, I have a feeling that we're meeting her and we'll say, well, hey, remember that interview we did with Cristina? And she's all famous and everything.
Yeah.
You are so poised and so obviously talented, and we're just delighted to meet you, and I want to wish you well. And how do you like the TV thing? You think you could do this?
Well, one day, I hope.
Yeah, I hope so too.
This one is only your first, so.
You never know. Again, performances tomorrow night at Calvary Chapel Rio Rancho, and Family Church Saturday night at 7 p.m. Tickets at the door. And I want to thank both of you, Daniela and Cristina.